Hello and welcome back to Chuffing Trains. In the last video where I compared the Hornby Edward locos, I asked if people had a preference for what I could show in future videos from the Thomas range. In the comments section, Jacob asked for Gordon and Spencer, but also Murdoch. As Murdoch is fairly hard to find these days and eBay prices are on the high side, I thought we could take a look at Murdoch. So, here we go. Murdoch from Hornby. I must say, he's a lovely model. So, here we go, a quick review of the Hornby model of Murdoch from the Thomas the Tank range, which is now unfortunately discontinued. The model is based on the 9F BR2100 wheel configuration, and I believe they've used the tooling from the railroad range, with a distinctive orange livery, and I believe it's quite an old tooling, but despite that, he still looks really good. I wasn't going to go through and show all the packaging because it's pretty much the standard packaging of the time. He is DCC ready and loco driven, unlike sort of James, Gordon, Edward and the Flying Scotsman, to name a few. And in this one I've added a decoder to Murdoch, so he's now DCC. Looking at the livery, I think it makes him very distinctive, and I really like the lining with the green and red. This is found in several places on the model and also continues onto the tender. If I just move him round slightly, there we go. Okay. And if I zoom in to show you what I'm talking about with the lining, there we go, you can see the red and green lining there. If I come out slightly, and we can just pan along the loco so you get an idea of the livery. And say, I do think it looks very distinctive in that shade of orange. And there we go, along to the end. Come back out. There's a degree of moulded detail, and then you can see the silver rails and the steam valves that look like they've been added on. If I go back in again, you can see the silver rails there and some steam valves at the top. He also has sprung buffers for those that like them, and I must say he's a really weighty engine and he does feel really substantial when you pick him up. Right. Inside the cab there's some basic moulding but nothing painted, and I'm not sure the camera's going to pick this up. I can try and zoom in slightly. I think you can just see the mouldings inside. If I go any closer, then it'll just go out of focus. But as you can see, I've added crew, which I always quite like having them in there, but I know not everybody likes them. Inside the actual packaging there's also some brake pipes included, although I haven't actually added them to the model. So, looking at the tender, as I was saying earlier, with regards to the green and the red lining, if I zoom in, you can see there that the lining continues. On the back they've added a bit of detail with the ladder on the rear of the tender. If I just go around, as I was saying earlier, on the front there's the sprung buffers, and then there you go, the sprung buffers on the back as well, for those that like them. But yeah, it's very, very nice. One thing I would say, actually, if I move him around, one of the things I was going to say is that when you actually do put the model on the track, I tend to find that actually it's quite tight. So I always put the tender on before placing him on the track, and with those big wheels, there you go, he's a very easy engine to pop on the track. So quite often I don't actually bother with the re-railer. You can just put him on, but there he is, looking absolutely superb. So, all in all, a really impressive model. And I often have Murdoch running with a long rake of wagons, going along slowly on the inner track, doing all the hard work, while other engines speed around on the main line. I mean, these are fairly hard to come by these days, and when they do appear on eBay, they can go for a few £100s. So hopefully Hornby will reintroduce him one day. if you do have any comments, then please add them and I'll try and reply. If I move him around, we'll have one last look. There we go. Yeah, absolutely superb. So I think for now, let's go and see Murdoch on the rails. So let's talk about performance, and I have to say the performance of Murdoch is very good. I've only put the basic Hornby decoder in and it works fine. I keep intending to put a more expensive decoder in, but at the moment there doesn't really seem to be a need. So here we go. If I put this is going to be sort of the minimum I can actually put on the controller for Murdoch, and we'll see him going forward. And I mean, his control is very good. There we go. If you can see him there, he's moving. And look at that. How slowly is that going? Increase it slightly. And shall we see him going backwards? Let's send him backwards. He does have great control. And as I say, this is just with a basic Hornby decoder. So, I think it's about time we actually saw him doing some heavy duty work. And we'll get him on the track, we'll get him with some wagons, and we'll get him with the brake van towed. So here we go, a running session with Murdoch. So for today's running session we are going to have R9200, the XGWR brake van towed. Here they come. There are also 7 R9689 line wagons in brown. And to top that off, we've got 2 R9690 works unit vans. And Murdoch going backwards.